Thank you, Speaker. And we all know that this past year has been very difficult on all Ontarians, including staff and students at our post-secondary institutions. Speaker, I'm proud that our government has always put students at the centre of our education policy, and that has not changed during the pandemic. In particular, I was pleased that our government was making post-secondary education more accessible for Indigenous learners. Can the minister please provide an update to this House on what the government is doing to support access to education for Indigenous learners?
The member for Northumberland, Peterborough South, Parliamentary Assistant.
Thank you, Speaker, and I want to thank the member for Flamborough-Glanbrook for that really important question. She's absolutely right, Mr. Speaker. It's vital that we continue to work closely with our Indigenous institutes to support them as institutions and to support the learners that walk their hallways. Mr. Speaker, the government's increased access to education by expanding OSAP eligibility for programs at Indigenous institutes starting in 2020-2021. The financial assistance will help ensure Indigenous learners have access to a culturally responsive and high-quality post-secondary education experience. We will prepare them to meet the labour market needs for tomorrow. Mr. Speaker, this is an important step, as previously students didn't have that access. Mr. Speaker, we're going to continue to find ways to support our Indigenous students across the province of Ontario and work closely with our Indigenous institutes to explore increasing labour market opportunities. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Order. Supplementary question.
Thank you, Speaker. I'm very proud that our government is taking concrete steps to support Ontario's Indigenous population by supporting access to culturally responsive and high-quality post-secondary education offered by Indigenous institutes and independent of other Ontario colleges and universities. Would the minister elaborate on why this important work by our government is so necessary in supporting Ontario's Indigenous learners?
Parliamentary Assistant.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I want to thank the member for that important question again. Speaker, we know that we must expand post-secondary education opportunities for Indigenous learners. Mr. Speaker, we know that approximately 53% of Indigenous peoples aged 25 to 64 hold a post-secondary credential, compared to 65% of the non-Indigenous population, according to the 2016 census. Mr. Speaker, thanks to the remarkable work of our Indigenous institutes, thanks to the remarkable work of elders, of others who've informed the curriculum there, enrollment in our Indigenous institutes has increased by nearly 40% since 2018, something I desperately hope the members of the opposition would support and not heckle as well. Mr. Speaker, our government believed it was necessary to take important steps to support our Indigenous institutes by expanding OSAP eligibility, Mr. Speaker. In addition, we've expanded capital funding for our Indigenous institutes, Mr. Speaker. As Minister Romano noted, there is widespread agreement by Indigenous leaders, communities, and education professionals that investing in culturally responsive learning, in post-secondary education opportunities for Indigenous learners will have tremendous benefits.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.